What it is, everybody. Big meetings happening right now in Pakistan, Islamabad, Pakistan. People are very optimistic still. Very optimistic still at this late hour. Everyone's optimistic except for Iran, it appears like. So, anyway, I thought I'd give you guys the latest on it. It looks like it might be over really soon. It might happen during this stream. And it might end with Iran saying that there's no ceasefire. It looks like, but it might not end that way. Like I said, people are still optimistic. Bitcoin is the only thing trading right now, although there are weekend markets too. People are predicting a deal. Still, people are predicting a deal. The things that trade over the weekend, oil is down. People are predicting the S&P 500 will be up on Monday. But all of that can change in a hurry. All the odds on Polymarket are up right now. So lots of opportunities if you are bearish that a deal is going to happen to make various kinds of bets. If you want on Polymarket, on Kalshi, probably. You can probably trade against cryptocurrency because it'll dump too. And then the real news happens on Monday. Then we find out what's real and what isn't real. So I'll give you guys the latest news. I should run a poll probably, huh? Let me monetize this video. Trump just made a statement on it. Lots of news to report. Some financial news came out Friday. I wasn't here, so I'll tell you that. Wasn't all that positive. Inflation's the highest it's been in several years, but still came in below expectations. So that was not viewed negatively by markets. The stock market went up again Friday. It's been on a nearly historic run. So the moment of truth comes this weekend. We'll see. Talks are still ongoing. They've been going on all day and all night. Like I said, I think it's like 3 in the morning, maybe 4 in the morning. No news that the talks have ended. It might happen during this stream. Like I said earlier, it could happen anytime. JD Vance must be getting tired. I'll pull up the Bitcoin chart because that will tell me if something happens pretty rapidly. Bitcoin has been doing very well. It's at 73.3 right now, Bitcoin. It's been bullish on the news. So bullish news came out today from the government and the official government propaganda website, which is Axios, and Barack Ravid reported that we're starting to mine sweep. Qatar says it's going to be open tomorrow. That's the weirdest thing I've heard. The Strait of Hormuz is going to be open tomorrow. Hold on. Did something just happen? Did Bitcoin just drop, or is my chart weird? Did Bitcoin just drop like $250 in a second? Because that's weird. I'll show you guys that. Wade Allen, your doorbell dashing on your e-bike and watching the show at the same time. I was having trouble. It's raining. Do you DoorDash in the rain, Wade? That's right. You told me about it. Yeah, I don't work for DoorDash yet. I'm working for Uber Eats. I'm almost platinum. I'll be platinum pretty soon. So then we'll see if they give you even more jobs. Went out there today, but I got caught in the rain yesterday. I don't want to be in the rain on my bike. I don't have the necessary rain gear and rain coverings and all that stuff. It's no fun being out in the rain in your jeans. But I got caught there yesterday. But I still went out today. I got one for like an hour or something. Too dangerous in the rain? Okay, good. I used to like, when I was in a car, I used to like going out in the rain because I thought that other people didn't like it. So I'd get more business. I like driving in the rain, but being on a bicycle in the rain kind of sucks, especially with glasses. They get all mucked up. Oh, you get flat tires in the rain? Really? I tune in. I try to listen to news updates. I'm just waiting to see if my shorts pay off. the Bitcoin chart looks like it just went rapidly downward, but I don't know why. It pumped on the news that we sent ships. CENTCOM reported that. This is the latest. It's Schrodinger's negotiations, basically. Like, we don't know what's real and what's not real. I don't know what's real and what's not real. I predicted that there was not going to be a meeting based on Iran's demands, which haven't been met, but they showed up anyway. So that to me was kind of a sign of weakness from Iran to show up to the meeting with their demands not met. There are various reports. Now I'll go through all of them. There are various reports that we released a bunch of money. Some people said yesterday. So the Iranian demands, let's see, I'll just get to the news. It'll be a little unorthodox today. Should I play my intro? I can play the intro. And I can maybe play. There's a big Lego video about to come out. They're even releasing trailers now for their Lego videos. It's called Loser 2. Loser was one of the best videos. Trump says we won. Again today. Trump says we won. So that's good news. But he says he doesn't care if there's a deal, which I don't think is that bullish for the deal. All right, anyway, we'll play our intro and grift a little and then show you guys some stuff. So anyway, here we go. Cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. The trailer for Loser 2. Let's see, I haven't watched it yet.
Hey, loser, come closer. I'm the exposed. $6 billion in your whole empire up.
Looks like it's going to be good. Looks like it's going to be good. Based on the videos, the negotiations are not going well for the United States of America. Based on the videos. Let's talk about negotiations let me just give you some financial news. Numbers came out Friday. Inflation is at 3.2%, which is higher than when Donald Trump took office. Notably, he said he would bring down prices. Prices are up. And people's expectations for 1 year inflation is up to almost 5%. That's what people are expecting. Gas prices are still up. Oil prices, as of the close of Friday, are still close to $100 a barrel. Gas at my local gas station went down another 5 cents. So that's a total of 10 cents lower gas prices since the announcement of the ceasefire, which is not officially a ceasefire yet. That's what they're negotiating still. They're negotiating whether the ceasefire ever really happened at all before they negotiate anything else. You mish consumer sentiment. Consumer sentiment came out. It's the lowest it's ever been ever. So people are feeling the worst they've ever felt ever about their economic well-being right now. Consumer sentiment fell to a record low, the lowest ever on record. I don't know when they started, but it doesn't go back in history. It doesn't go back to the Great Depression. But the estimate was 51.5. It's 47.6. So that's what's going on in the economy. Gas is still expensive. If there's a deal, it could go down further. If there's a deal. We're very close. Very, 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 very close to finding out what the result of these negotiations is. In any case, consumer sentiment is bad. Inflation expectations are bad. That means no rate cuts are coming. If inflation stays high, we're not going to get any rate cuts. We're not going to get any of the other stuff. China. One of the things, many things are being restricted coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, besides oil. Helium for making chips. It's like 50% of production or something of helium is cut off. Helium, if it continues to be cut off, is going to become a disastrous problem. Oil, if it continues to be cut off, is going to be a problem. There's big protests in the other Ireland right now. Big protests about the price of gasoline and diesel in Ireland. Also, somebody took a hatchet in Ireland, I believe, in Ireland to a C-130. They broke into a U.S. base and took a hatchet to a C-130 and actually put it out of commission over the weekend here. China says it will halt exports of sulfuric acid. That's another thing that comes through the Strait of Hormuz, which I'm told is super important. Sulfuric acid. I heard about that early on. Helium, what are the other things? Natural gas. The United States has lots of natural gas. Natural gas in America, because it doesn't get exported much, because you have to turn it into liquid first, which is annoying and hard, is cheap. So we are really lucky in the United States of America, but there are a lot of kind of false narratives going around about how, like, there's somebody who made a video that's been making the rounds about how we lost the war on purpose because we're going to benefit so much from the oil trade. I'll explain why that's insane. Sulfuric acid is apparently used for fertilizer. Oh yeah, that's the other thing that's not coming out. Urea used in fertilizer. Urea used in fertilizer. Donald Trump truthed about fertilizer. He's blaming the fertilizer monopoly for raising prices because he doesn't want to take any account for the fact that the ill-advised war in Iran is what's raising fertilizer prices. Also, so urea is used in fertilizer. Sulfuric acid is used in fertilizer. Sulfuric acid is also used in a number of other things. And China has just announced that they are going to stop exporting sulfuric acid. They're another huge exporter, apparently like 35% of global supply. We haven't had a supply shock yet. Like we haven't had a supply shock yet, especially in America. We have higher prices, but we don't have shortages like other places do yet. The shortages have started to hit certain places. Indonesia, Philippines, Australia. But those things, I'm told, are going to happen in the coming days. And that's regardless of whether the Strait of Hormuz opens again. But everything is pointing to the Strait of Hormuz not opening, except for a statement from Qatar, which says it's going to be open tomorrow. So that's why I say it's Schrodinger's negotiations. Just while we're on the financial stuff, Trump is it appears to be one of the most corrupt, maybe the most corrupt administration of all time in terms of pumping crypto. In particular, there's a huge cryptocurrency scandal going on with this company, WLFI, World Liberty Financial, which Barron Trump is part of. He's constantly why I talk about stocks and stuff a lot, because everything to do with like Trump's messaging, the White House messaging, has to do with pumping up stocks and keeping the price of oil low. Almost everything they do, including going into this fake ceasefire so far, this so-called ceasefire, was to drive down the price of oil and pump the price of stocks. Because when those things are okay, Trump can still continue to do what he wants to do. He can still continue his agenda to a certain extent. He gets pressure on him when stocks go down and when the price of oil goes up. He pumped a stock specifically on Friday because it's been getting killed, which is Palantir stock, which Michael Burry is short Palantir. It's just been getting killed. I guess because of, I guess it's all to do with Anthropic AI, but software stocks are getting destroyed, even though the overall market is doing well. Like many software stocks are down like 20%, even since the so-called ceasefire. They're just getting destroyed. He pumped Palantir by ticker symbol on Friday. Palantir Technologies, PLTR, has proven to have great warfighting capabilities and equipment. Just ask our enemy's president. So obviously he got a call from somebody that was like, our stock is getting killed. Or it was Barron Trump or somebody who's long Palantir. And it pumped the stock briefly. But it is kind of ridiculous. How much market manipulation goes on with this administration. He had to send out an email telling people not to inside trade in prediction markets specifically, but I don't even think he mentioned the stock market. But a lot of insider trading appears to have been going on related to Trump's tweets or truths. A lot of people are profiting in this administration. There's a huge cryptocurrency scandal to do with World Liberty Financial, of which there are 3 Witkoffs that used to be on the web. The website has been cleared of all of the people that were involved. The whole Trump family is on the board. 3 different Witkoffs are on the board. Everybody who invested in the company got destroyed. The company itself, the stock value is way down. The meme coins that were launched are way down. He got suspicious donations right before he was inaugurated president. He got like a huge donation from the Middle East. People who gave money to the project all got pardons. All these crypto people got pardoned who were convicted of fraud or money laundering. People are getting pardoned because they give big donations, like the Jewish guy that just got pardoned. That was part of a nursing home scandal. So it appears to be one of the most corrupt administrations of all time. His net worth has gone up somewhere between $2 and $4 billion since he became president. And he just put out a truth saying how he doesn't take a salary, as if that's a big deal. He doesn't take his $400,000 a year that you get paid to be president. And he was showing how all the other people did. But he's been, him and especially his family have been making a lot of money. And then Kushner gets all kinds of investments from the Middle East based on his relationship with his father. And of course, Kushner is the one that's negotiating right now. Anyway, this is a description of what happened with World Liberty Financial. They created $5 billion of their own tokens and then took a loan out against it and made it so that other people involved in the project could not get their money out, basically. So this is a guy describing it, if you understand it.
Well, Trump's crypto project just used its own made-up token to drain $150 million from investors, and the company claims it's by design. Here's what happened. World LibertyFi, the Trump family's crypto project, pledged $5 billion of its own token on a lending platform called Dolomite, borrowed $150 million in stablecoins against it, and sent over $40 million straight to Coinbase Prime, which is basically a fiat off-ramp. The pool is now 93% drained, making it nearly impossible for regular depositors to withdraw their money. To make matters worse, Dolomite is not some random platform. It's co-founded by a literal advisor to World LibertyFi, and their depositors getting locked out, mostly everyday users who lent real dollars expecting to earn yield and leave whenever they want. Here's how this works. People deposit US-backed stablecoins to earn yield. Borrowers come in, pledge crypto as collateral, and pay interest on the loans. In this case, World LibertyFi was the borrower, and its collateral was its own token, a token that's now down 75% from launch with almost no liquidity. So imagine you lent $1,000 to earn 6% per year. Then you get a tax bill and you need that money back. Well, you can't get it, because the Trump family literally drained the entire pool using their made-up token. This project is currently calling the criticism FUD, but when the borrower, the collateral, and the platform advisor are all the same entity and real people's money is locked out, that's not FUD. That's a presidential scale extraction scheme.
Okay, so if you guys understand, people in crypto are pretty pissed off about it. It's kind of a big deal. So everything that he created, people lost money on, and he made money on, and his family made money on. He also is planning to pardon everyone in the administration before leaving office, the thing they criticized Joe Biden for. He's planning to pardon everybody before they leave office, proactively. So, but I don't know if it'll be soon enough. People might get prosecuted while they're in office. We'll see. So anyway, that's the news on that. Let's check in on Bitcoin real quick, because it was just falling, but it's not bad. Bitcoin's at 73.3 right now. It kind of fell a little bit, but it pumped on the news. So CENTCOM put out news today that we crossed the Strait of Hormuz with warships without coordinating with Iran to show freedom of navigation and supposedly to clear mines from the Strait of Hormuz. And Trump put out a Truth Social tweet saying we're clearing mines from the Strait of Hormuz. That's news I haven't reported yet on the show because it happened Friday. I was curious if there were mines in the Strait of Hormuz, because all of the ships that leave through the strait have to hug the coastline when they're coming out. The news reported on Friday that the reason they can't open the Strait of Hormuz is because they dropped a bunch of mines. So I'll show you. I'll show you the map. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I find one on Twitter. The news reporting is that they can't find all of the mines. This is a map that shows it. So this is a map that shows how you're allowed to transit the Strait of Hormuz. This is, I guess, officially published by Iran. This is the map that shows how you're allowed to leave, which is the direction that we've seen the ships that actually leave go, which is really close to Iran's coastline and usually right by this island here where usually they pay a toll. And that's because this whole area here is apparently mined. Yeah, I guess we all agree now that it was mined. The thing we didn't know about whether they had mined the strait or not is apparently widely agreed upon now that they did. And they're claiming that they can't find all of the mines. Diamatra Beat says Iran is lying about not knowing where they place them. That's possible. The claim is that Iran can't retrieve all of the mines that they laid. But you hear it's 12 to 16 mines. It's not very many. But that would prevent the Strait of Hormuz from being completely open. The other thing it does is it makes sure that ships have to transit through Iran's territorial waters and very close to Iran's coastline, which I assume makes it a lot easier for Iran to blow up the ship if they choose to. If you're not allowed to cross very far from Iran, then you're a lot closer to being hit by a missile, which could just be a shoulder-launched missile off the shoreline, which would be impossible for us to get rid of all of the possible ways they could attack ships. So they have apparently mined the Strait of Hormuz. Today, CENTCOM and Trump claimed that ships crossed through the Strait of Hormuz, destroyers, and apparently they did go there. Then they were on ship tracking there. So they did arrive at the Strait of Hormuz, but the stories diverge there, which is that CENTCOM claims that that they were mine sweeping at the time, basically, but you don't mine sweep with destroyers. There's Trump previously had asked other countries to send mine sweepers because I don't know if we actually have any. I read that they have to be specialized wooden ships because mines are magnetic and they stick to metal ships and blow them up. So if that's true, then that would definitely prevent the Strait of Hormuz from completely opening. Besides the threats from Iran to blow up ships if they don't coordinate with the IRGC. So if we have to get rid of mines for the Strait of Hormuz to completely reopen, it doesn't happen super fast. It takes a while. It can take up to months to do a full mine sweeping operation. So it indicates the Strait of Hormuz isn't opening anytime soon, which has been my claim for a long time. I was very surprised at the ceasefire, very surprised that Iran showed up to talks. Will be very surprised if the talks go any further than this weekend and if the ceasefire holds at all, especially with what Israel is doing right now. So anyway, Iran claims that the boats were tracked the whole time. These destroyers, I think it was 2 destroyers, were tracked the whole time and were told by Iran that they would get hit within 30 minutes if they didn't turn around and leave immediately. And that's what Bloomberg is reporting. The United States is denying that they were threatened by Iran and had to turn around. The United States claims they did it by themselves without coordinating with Iran to show freedom of navigation and supposedly to begin sweeping mines to clear up the Strait of Hormuz. So you decide who to believe, but Bloomberg is reporting that it was because they were threatened by the IRGC. So the official report, besides from Axios and Barak Ravid, is that they were threatened and that's why they left. and they're not welcome back there again, or they're going to get hit with missiles. So that's the official reporting from the Middle East from Bloomberg. Here is what was claimed before the negotiations began was necessary. 2 red lines: a ceasefire in Lebanon and the release of Iran's blocked assets prior to the commencement of negotiations. And that's by Galabath, who's there now. He's the head of the parliament. And kind of people are saying he's kind of like recognized as the leader now of the country, besides the supreme leader, of course. He said that before sitting down in negotiations, we would have to have a ceasefire in Lebanon and a release of Iran's blocked assets. So far, there's no ceasefire in Lebanon. Israel's bombing them today. Israel has claimed publicly they're going to continue bombing Lebanon. There's some question of whether there's an agreement that they can bomb in the south and not Beirut. Apparently, they're not bombing Beirut today. But Israel is continuing their action. Israel is doing everything possible to make sure there's no deal. There were reports yesterday that we did release $6 billion from South Korean banks that have frozen Iranian assets. If we do that, which I believe Iran is definitely going to require before they agree to move on to the next phase of talks, we're going to have to release a bunch of frozen Iranian assets. That would be ironic because the reason Trump made fun of Obama for the nuclear deal that he tore up is that Obama gave them a bunch of cash. Well, what Obama gave them was their own money, basically. So they're demanding that before negotiations go any further, before even discussing nuclear, missiles, etc., I think it's important to understand these talks right now are not about the most important issues. These talks are just to see if there's actually a ceasefire. And in order for the talks to progress further, Iran has certain demands: control of the Strait of Hormuz, all their money, all their seized money released back to them, and a complete ceasefire. As far as I can tell, I don't think the money's been officially released yet, although they're talking about it. It seems like maybe we've agreed to do that if they open up the Strait of Hormuz. Seems like maybe we've agreed to that. If we agree to it, it's another reason to make fun of Donald Trump, because it's a lot more money going to Iran than Obama gave them in order to get to the next step of negotiations. So anyway, that's what the supposed demands were. Those have definitely not been met as far as the Lebanon thing goes. The seized assets, lots and lots of reports that the seized assets were being returned. It appears we're willing to do it. It appears that way based on the news reports, that we're willing to give them the money to open the Strait of Hormuz. But Iran doesn't agree to open the Strait of Hormuz. Trump is doing a lot of Truth Socials and is just mad at the fake news, which says that he lost the war, which is basically that based on Iran's demands, if we concede to them, which we have to for the ceasefire, we are in a much worse position than we were before the war started. Okay. And so anyway, Trump is saying, if you listen to the fake news, we're losing. And he claims their leadership is dead. The Strait of Hormuz is about to open, etc. Which, again, there's one report. Let's see if I have it. There's one report from Qatar for some reason that the strait is going to be open tomorrow. I have no idea. Oh, okay. Something might have happened. Bitcoin is falling. So maybe bad news dropped. If you guys in the chat can tell me. It looks like maybe negotiations failed already, which I expect them to, but Bitcoin is starting to drop. It just kind of fell quickly. So I'll continue to monitor that. You guys let me know if news has come out. All the news to me has been negative. The stock market pumping to me was crazy. I have no idea. Oil going down to me has been crazy this entire time. But I'm long oil, I'm short stocks, so maybe that's just because I'm losing money. But to me, the optimism has been insane based on what Iran's been saying this entire freaking time, which is that they're not going to give up control of the Strait of Hormuz. So there's another, let's see. This was another report from the Kobasi letter, which is a big financial account which moves markets. Says that the red lines for peace talks were authority over the Strait of Hormuz, payment of war reparations, unfreezing of all blocked Iranian financial assets, and securing a comprehensive regional ceasefire. So the sticking point as of right now being reported widely is that the control over the Strait of Hormuz is the sticking point. Some people are reporting there's a stalemate. Financial Times reported that we requested, just like Trump suggested, that we're going to share the fees taken by the Strait of Hormuz. We're also going to toll the Strait of Hormuz, but let Iran do it too. And we're going to share in the proceeds. That was rejected, apparently, by Iran. Iranian news is reporting that things are going poorly because the United States has unreasonable demands and they won't recognize Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz. Thanks, Dimetri Beats. Gives me a $2.99 Australian. Says, you always report in good faith. Thanks, Nathan. I try to. But I've been surprised, by the news. Russ Cole says, you call that a drop? Well, it went from being up 0.5% to flat. No, it's not a huge drop. Well, I do call it a drop. It seems very rapid. It gapped down on a 5-minute chart. It's down $250 in 5 minutes. Yeah, I'd call that a drop. It's not continuing, but no, compared to what Bitcoin can do, no, it's not a total drop. Netanyahu made a public statement today that they're still at war with Iran. And by the way, you can drop me coffees also by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. These things are scrolling across the bottom of your screen the whole show. We also have t-shirts for $5 and $10 at truthclothing.io. Always scrolling across the bottom of your screen. The coffees are better than super chats because they only take a very small percentage and pay out almost immediately, unlike YouTube, which takes 30%. This is what Netanyahu said. Israel will, under my leadership, will continue to fight Iran's terror regime and its proxies, unlike Erdogan, who accommodates them and massacred his own Kurdish citizens. So Turkey and Israel are exchanging words at the moment. We are very close to the entire world turning against Israel. Spain completely turned against Israel. And Trump announced today that we're going to cut off trade with Spain because of their opinions about Israel, basically. So they burned an effigy of Netanyahu today in Spain. This is a statement that was retweeted by most of Iranian leadership today from Professor Marundi. He said, one of the individuals close to the negotiating team told me that unreasonable demands from the Trump regime are still hindering the establishment of the desired framework. The Iranian team insists on its demands and conditions to solidify the military achievements it has gained. However, there may be another round of negotiations tonight or tomorrow aimed at making a final effort to reach an acceptable framework. Some people are saying, even though Iran has been skeptical this whole time and the United States isn't somebody you can trust to go to negotiations, that Iran is participating in the negotiations just to show the world that they gave it a shot and that the United States wasn't willing to be reasonable, which I kind of believe is possible. So in any case, Trump, this statement from Trump leads me to believe the negotiations are not going well. So this is Trump's statement very recently, a couple hours ago, about negotiations.
Getting a lot of reports. They've been meeting for many hours, as you probably have noticed. We'll see what happens. Look, regardless, we win. Regardless what happens, we win. We've totally defeated that country. And so let's see what happens. Maybe they make a deal, maybe they don't. From the standpoint of America, we win. One other thing that's happening is that boats are sailing up and heading out to our country. Big, beautiful tankers, and we're loading them up with oil and gas and everything else. And pretty beautiful thing to see. Getting a lot of reports.
So he says it doesn't matter if we have a deal or not, which leads me to believe that we're not getting a deal. There's a conspiracy theory that it's all good. We win regardless of the Strait of Hormuz. And actually the guy that made the video that's gone viral is that we lost on purpose, that the Strait of Hormuz being closed is good for America. I'm just going to tell you why it's not good. We are a net exporter of petroleum products overall. We do have more oil than anybody as a single entity, but we still import oil for domestic use. We still use more than we produce in America. If other countries are buying our oil, that's oil we need to use. And it's driving the price of our oil up because we're selling to the highest bidder, which right now isn't necessarily the American consumer. We are going to sell oil to the highest bidder. Oil is on an international market. Until we nationalize our oil and fix the price, which would be a communist thing to do, and nobody's talking about doing, then the Strait of Hormuz being closed is a problem for America. Trump wants you to think that it's not. He keeps saying it. We don't need the Strait of Hormuz. We have plenty of oil. We can just export oil. Everybody can buy it from us. If they're buying it from us, they're competing against us. We're having to compete then with the whole world. Any oil we sell, we have to replace. And we can't just drill immediately more oil. And the only way to ensure that we do continue to drill more oil is for the price to go up. even higher, which I think everybody agrees is bad. Well, almost everybody is bad for the economy. So in order to create more oil, the price needs to go up. That's how the economy works. That's how the whole supply thing, that's like economic theory and stuff, is supply and demand in a free market always works itself out, because when the price of something goes up, then people make more of it. You know what I mean? It balances, because if something becomes in short demand, the price goes up. If the price goes up, then if it wasn't profitable to make before, now it is profitable. So people start making more of it. And eventually, after the price goes up, you have a glut of the thing. So it's like high prices are the fix for high prices. Sometimes people say that. High prices are the fix for high prices, because eventually everybody wants to make whatever is expensive because they're making so much money on it. It's the same with oil. It's the same with gold in a way too, unlike Bitcoin, which is that when the price of gold goes up, then it becomes more profitable to mine gold. So more people mine gold. Gold that was too expensive to mine at a lower price becomes profitable to mine at a higher price. So people dig further, they try harder. The oil in Venezuela, this is another thing people say, oh, well, we have Venezuelan oil. They have more oil than anybody. It's not true, first of all. They claim they have this huge reserve of oil. It's super filthy, dirty oil, which is super hard to extract. It requires the price of oil to be really high for it to be profitable to extract. And it takes a decade, maybe, to set up the infrastructure to extract it. We can't suddenly, because we have Venezuela and America, fix the problem of the Strait of Hormuz being closed. The price of oil has to go up to fix the problem. And it's not going to be fixed. We will make a lot of money from natural gas exports because we have plenty of that. We'll make a lot of money from that, but it's not going to help us. Like regular people aren't going to see the benefit from that. It's not like we're going to get a windfall tax refund or something because natural gas producers are making more money exporting LNG. Fortunately, though, we have lots of natural gas from our fracking and stuff. I think it comes from fracking too. And so the price of natural gas in America is cheap. It's cheap, unlike other parts of the world where they're just going to run out because they have to import liquefied natural gas. Diameter Beats says, wrong. Nathan, Trump said high prices are great for Americans. Yeah, he did, actually. It's the biggest mind fuck of all time. Convincing people that paying more is good is pretty amazing. So anyway, if the deal doesn't, it does not appear that the Strait of Hormuz is going to open, except for what Qatar said, which I think is just, I have no idea why they said it. Qatar said all maritime traffic, it's open tomorrow, he said. So don't know. So anyway, that was Trump's statement. Whether we have a deal or not, no, it doesn't matter. We won, he said. Whether we have a deal or not, we won. Well, he hates hearing that we lost because so far we clearly have. Hold on, let me check in. Bitcoin's recovering. So there hasn't been an official bad announcement yet. Bitcoin recovered its entire red candle. So there hasn't been an official bad announcement yet, it appears. Don't know what made it gap down. We're threatening to kill the negotiators if they don't agree to the deal. That's kind of an indication that we're in a strong position. The Washington Post op-ed page, there's an op-ed written by Rumsfeld's speechwriter, which was that we should make it clear to the negotiators that if they don't accept our terms, we'll kill them. And so far, threats have gone really well with the Iranians. The Iranians who, theoretically at least, and it seems like in practice, want to die fighting America. And then they get replaced by people who hate us even more. But in the Washington Post, they said Iran's leaders must be made to understand that their lives literally depend on reaching a negotiated settlement to Trump's liking. If they refuse to do so, they will be killed. That was published in the Washington Post today. Seems like a good strategy. Lindsey Graham suggested the same thing.
We're dealing with a failed presidency called Joe Biden. The Iranians have flush with cash because of Obama and Biden. Now they're on their back foot, and we're going to finish this job. I pray for a deal, but if they refuse a deal, just ask Maduro what happens when you turn down a good deal. Call him, but he's in jail. You won't be in jail. You're going to be dead.
Senator,
we're dealing with a failed presidency called
blaming Biden again. That's funny. So apparently we're planning. That's what Israel does. So apparently we took these people off the list. These are the people who are in the negotiations right now that we like. Apparently we told Israel specifically not to kill them. Arakshi and Ghalibaf. These are the ones we like. These are the ones that were supposedly the regime change, even though they're the same. But I reported on the news. I wasn't particularly offended myself because I already had turned against Donald Trump. But his Truth Social post on Thursday about the podcasters was apparently the turning point for a number of MAGA supporters, especially the type that were on that actually use Trump's platform, Truth Social. That the word is that after Trump truthed out, going after Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones, that suddenly Truth Social turned against Donald Trump. That was the last straw for a lot of people. Trump called them losers, called them low IQ, said because they got kicked off television, like in the case of Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson, that they're irrelevant. Kind of showing his boomer mentality because he loves to watch television. That's why he's always focused on the mainstream media and attacking the mainstream media, because he wants the mainstream media to like him. He always has. Even though he hates the New York Times, he wishes the New York Times wrote good stories about him. He wishes that they wrote good stories about him in the Washington Post. He wishes that NBC said nice things about him. He even is mad at CBS, which apparently is controlled by Barry Weiss now, who supposedly should like Donald Trump. The Daily Caller published a info photo which showed the split in MAGA, saying the old MAGA is Tucker, Candace, Alex, and Megyn Kelly. And the new MAGA is Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Laura Loomer, and that fat Jew from Florida. Forget his name. All Jewish. They showed an infographic that showed the new MAGA as all Jewish. I would have added Lindsey Graham just to not make it all Jewish. But it's kind of true. And Lindsey Graham can be called an honorary Jew. But again, so Mark Levin said Trader Tucker's following is cratering, and he's number one in news podcasts. In front of the New York Times, The Daily, which is super popular, up first for NPR, which is super popular, liberal. And then Candace Owens is number 4 in podcasts. I don't know how much Trump doesn't understand the landscape of independent media, but Tucker is bigger than when he was on Fox News. Candace is bigger than she was when she was with the Daily Caller. Megyn Kelly, I think, is bigger than she was when she was on network television. But apparently that was the last straw for a lot of people because those people helped because all those people helped get Trump elected. It just shows you that if you don't agree with Trump 100% of the time, he'll disavow you immediately. So now basically I think his favorite person is Laura Loomer. Apparently he spends a lot of time talking to Laura Loomer, who's probably the most disgusting person on the internet. She was just accused of sexual assault by somebody. It's not the first time. She was just accused of sexual assault and begging a guy to have sex with her. This conservative guy who was at an event with her said she grabbed his crotch and kept insisting that he come back to her hotel room. And it's not the first time. She's been accused of rape before. So anyway, there's still that ongoing rift within MAGA. He's bleeding support terribly. Not just him. This is the Qatar announcement. Qatar says maritime navigation will resume for all types of maritime vessels and ships from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time on Sunday. So that's the news that is totally not, I don't know. It's being reported by Al Jazeera. Qatar's Ministry of Transport says maritime navigation traffic will resume from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time. People are happy that 3 oil tankers got out today. 2 Russian, 1 Greek, possibly. But as far as how much Trump is losing influence, Massey is ahead in the polls. Trump just had to endorse Lindsey Graham in his primary, and he's running against somebody who likes Thomas Massey. Lindsey Graham may easily lose his primary. Tom Massey is on pace to win his primary. His odds are probably getting better all the time. JD Vance went to Hungary, which we're trying to influence the election in Hungary like we've done in other countries. JD Vance went to Hungary and to make sure Viktor Orban gets reelected. And Viktor Orban's odds ever since JD's arrival to promote Viktor Orban has crashed. And now he's only a 28% chance. I think those elections might be tomorrow. Apparently, it's a big loss for Israel if Orban doesn't win, in addition to it being a big loss for America or for Trump. Trump offered to give Hungary money if they reelect Orban. Basically, he wants to take away money from Americans to spend on the military. Offered to give Hungary, the people of Hungary, money if they reelect his favorite candidate, who apparently is going to lose tomorrow. And apparently that's a real problem with Israel. Apparently it's a big problem with Israel. South Korea is calling out Israel right now. Many countries are calling out Israel and saying they need to be punished, basically, for screwing up the whole world. Israel is getting more of the blame for this war than anybody else, than we are. Israel is getting most of the blame, it looks like, for starting this war, which actually they should, considering that Netanyahu pitched it to Trump and Trump decided to go along with it. It was Israel's idea. It's just that Trump is stupid enough to do it. But it looks like Viktor Orban is going to lose. This is an image from Netanyahu's television appearance in Israel, where he says they're still at war with Iran. So anyway, ceasefire odds are not looking good. They must still be going on. They must still be going on. The official news that it's over hasn't yet been released. It appears, based on the price of Bitcoin. It's being reported that China is about to send weapons to Iran. They're going to be sending them man-pads, air defense, shoulder-launched missile, heat-seeking missiles. So it appears that Iran's air defense is already a lot better than we said, because they've been taking down drones and jets and other flying things. Trump says China's going to have big problems. Trump threatened tariffs if anybody sends weapons to Iran, but he can't even do that anymore. He can't even do the tariffs anymore because of the Supreme Court. So all right. And then, like I said, Iranian media is mostly saying that the talks have stalled because of the Strait of Hormuz issue. So let's see what happened. I'll show you Bitcoin, which is, this is a 5-minute chart. It dropped, but it came back. So I don't think official news is broken yet, but we're expecting it at any moment. Planes have flown in to Pakistan with different interpretations on why they're there. They're probably there getting ready to fly out the Iranians. The Iranians are going to report when they get back how the talks went and whether there's a ceasefire. Okay. Oh, I can show you some polymarket stuff. All the odds are up. Let's see. Iran nuclear. Here we go. The odds on an Iranian nuclear deal have spiked up 30% over some time period. They were down around 40%. Now they're up to 60% odds. So everybody is still bullish right now. Yeah. So this would have dropped if the talks don't go well. So these are all the ways you can make money. If you don't think the talks are going well, which I don't think they are, I think the talks are going to end and we're going to be back to war, I guess. No ceasefire as soon as these talks are over. They might continue tomorrow, or more likely they're going to wrap up tonight. Iran is going to fly home and say that there's no deal, I'm guessing. Then this market will drop. But all these markets are still bullish on this thing working out. Most people think this thing is going to work out. Peace deal, permanent peace deal. Actually, it doesn't look like the market's moved so far. Permanent peace deal by May 31st is at 43%. Most people think it's not going to happen in April. So that market hasn't changed much. But Bitcoin's still stable. So we'll see what happens. I'm thinking no deal. That's what I think, but you guys are welcome to your own opinions. We'll see. If there's no deal, then the price of oil skyrockets on Monday and stocks will give back I assume, all of the gains they made last week, which was a lot. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. That's the update so far. Last minutes of negotiations. Oh, sorry. Just in. Talks are extended for 1 day. Sorry. Update. Talks have been extended for 1 day. Third round stopped an hour ago. Due to excessive demands of the American side, another meeting was held moments ago at the insistence of the Pakistani side, which appears to be Ghalibaf's last chance to reach a common framework. That was reported 2 hours ago. So apparently they're going to continue tomorrow. That's what the word is. Sorry. I could have given you guys that closer to the beginning of the show. Last round ended without resolving key disputes. Continuation to Sunday follows a Pakistani proposal accepted by both sides in order to keep negotiations alive despite the impasse. FAR, citing an informed source, reported that no agreement was reached in the previous round, with both sides now attempting to draft a new text which may be acceptable. Talks went 14 hours. Iranians say excessive demands from the U.S. side remain a major obstacle and that core disagreements are still unresolved. So there you go. I guess they're going to continue into tomorrow. They're going to leave us hanging. They're going to leave us hanging. But they did continue into tomorrow. Apparently, Iran is saying they made no progress. Iranian state media called the round a last opportunity to reach a framework. Iranian officials are saying the ball is in the American court to move off what they describe as maximalist demands, with the Strait of Hormuz remaining the central sticking point. Talks broke down at 4 a.m. local time. So there you go. All right. So thanks everybody for tuning in. New LEGO video coming soon. Loser 2, which should be good. And we'll check in to see what happens tomorrow. The talks continue. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for the super chat. I'll check my coffees. Didn't see any come in. No coffees. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate your continuous support of the show. And we will continue to bring you the news. We'll see if there's a deal tomorrow. For now, that's what it is.